Can you be fair if you're weak? Can weak people be fair? And can weak people create fair society? Because what is fairness? It's the ability to take responsibility for your decision to be fair. You cannot be fair if you rely on other people's idea of fairness. You have to stand behind what you think is fair. Otherwise, you can't be fair. And therefore, only strong people are able to be fair. Weak people cannot be fair. They rely on the mob, on the crowd, and crowd usually is not fair at all. I have two entities, two beings behind me, the Joker and Jordan Peterson. Why? Because one of them recommend to keep your room in order. The other one wants this room to be burned with everything in it. And this desire and this discipline, they constantly battling with each other. They constantly in struggle because you have to keep your life in order. You have to keep your room in order. You have to keep your apartment in order. But at the same time, you wanna stop doing it. Because sometimes it's so tough and you want to just forget about it and just let it go. And this destructive force within us that we must harness. That's what we're supposed to do to become strong men. We shouldn't be afraid this destructive power within us. We have to learn to utilize it to help us to achieve something. Because man without teeth is just a harmless lion nobody afraid of. You have to have teeth if you want to be a man, and you have to show your teeth every once in a while. Otherwise, you're useless and nobody cares about you, and you cannot create fair society. And you don't understand the idea of fairness because you have to reject it since you're not strong enough to propagate it, to defend it, and to enforce it. Because fairness not only must be understood, but also must be propagated properly, and most importantly, defended, and even more importantly, to enforced. You have to enforce fairness. You have to. But you cannot do this if you're weak, if you have no teeth. That's what I always believe, that justice must be fair, not compassionate. Because you can hide your cowardliness behind compassion. You can hide your weakness behind compassion. Since, it's easy to forgive crime against other people, as it's very easy to redistribute somebody else's money. But fairness is a different story. You have to take responsibility for punishment of criminals. You have to take this responsibility, especially if you're a judge. You have to. Judges are not supposed to be compassionate. A judge supposed to be fair, and they're supposed to take responsibility for this fairness by enforcing the rule of law. Otherwise, society cannot exist in a peaceful way. We can only exist peacefully with each other if we know that we can hurt each other. Once we know that we can hurt each other, only then we can peacefully coexist with each other. That's how people operate. That's what humanity forgetting about it. That's what man's supposed to be. We're supposed to be dangerous, but we're supposed to keep our danger under control. Otherwise, we're just weak. A lot of people hiding their cowardness behind niceness. They try to be nice. But are you nice because you're just a coward, or you're nice because you know you're dangerous? That's the two questions to ask yourself. We build the West right now by elevating weak men, harmless men, to our own detriment. Harmless and weak men are not going to be able to make a right decision to defend something that matters. Only strong men are able to do this. And what exactly is the strong man? Because there's a lot of ideas about toxic masculinity and many other things that can be vilified. But what exactly is to be a strong man? It's to be disciplined. It's to be consistent in what you're doing. It's to be tough. It's to be strong. It's to be responsible for your life and the life of your family and the peacefulness of your own country. That's what strong men are. They take responsibility not only for their own existence, but for the existence of their family and of their country. And how you can do this? Through consistent behavior. You have to practice your strength. You have to practice your order. And how you do this? You have to practice, and this practice starts with yourself. You have to practice, you do physical work, you work out every day. You practice intelligence, you try to read books, try to understand the world yourself, try to understand how you can be much useful to this idea of existence. You try to understand the world. You're curious, you try to take a risk, you try to improve your life. You're not terrified over every single step you must make. You're not obsessed with the comfort. You can sleep on the floor if you have to. You can drink water and eat bread if you have to. You're not obsessed over a new car or over a new video game. You don't have this obsession. You have to see real from within reality. You don't want to hide yourself from reality. What makes us weak is our ability to numb ourselves, to escape reality. Once you start escaping from reality, you stop being a man. You become a weak man. Because you have to face reality. That's all you have. You have to face reality and you have to challenge reality. You have to push back on something that tried to destroy your life or destroy your ability to provide for your family. You have to push back. You have to show your teeth every once in a while. I think the most horrible thing right now is the comfort. I think the comfort just destroyed modern man, and we became trained like house cats. And we have a lot of problems with that because we have video games, and these video games grow along with us. We don't stop playing video games. We keep playing them constantly. We try to substitute reality. And look at the video games. They're filled with violence. What we do, we subdue violence within ourselves to manifest this violence inside of video games, and it's useless. How about you just start working out, learn martial arts, and try to utilize this natural craving for destruction through martial arts, through boxing, through working out constantly, to develop your body to become stronger, to become more dangerous, to become real. I think that's what we need. We have to practice ourselves to become real. Because you have to face reality. You cannot close your eyes to reality. Otherwise, the reality would crush you. And what you do, you're going to numb yourself with the video games, then with pornography, then with food, and you become out of shape, mental, physical, and intellectuals. You become useless, weak, pathetic. There's no way for you to defend yourself nor your family. And in most cases, you even don't have family because you're too weak to have family. Also, you're not going to be defender of your country. And that's where nihilism comes, from weakness. Because if you're nihilistic, you're in some sense weak, you gave up on yourself, you don't want to take a stand. Real men who know how to practice his strength, his life, his ability to be defender, they're not going to be nihilistic. Nihilism is some sort of immaturity and weakness. You refuse to grow up. You refuse the world because the world doesn't see you the way you want to see. Because you imagine such an illusion about yourself, how the world's supposed to perceive you. And if the world doesn't see you this way, you become petulant, you become pathetic, you become resentful, and in the end you become nihilistic. And it's funny, think about nihilism. It's just, people are intelligent. People who are nihilist are incredibly intelligent. Here, people who are resentful can be intelligent as well. They understand why they're resentful. They understand why they're nihilistic. They're not naive. They're not stupid. They just give up something within themselves. I think they give up this ability to make a proper sacrifice, or even to learn to make a proper sacrifice, because that's what makes us man. The thing about man, like, you have to believe in God. You have to have religion on your side. Why? Because you need to believe in something bigger than you. If you think that there's nothing bigger than you, that you're the end of yourself, then what's the point for you to make a sacrifice at all? You have to know that there's some power bigger than you. You have to learn how to humble yourself. That's what makes men dangerous. They know how to know how to be humble with the power they have. Because if you never learn how to be humble, you become prideful. And with the pride comes fall. And with the fall comes nihilism, comes resentfulness. And you kind of reverse back to your immaturity. You start drinking, you start using drugs, you start watching pornography, you start playing video games. You become useless. You become pathetic. You give up on everything. But mostly you give up on yourself. Because that's how you betray the world. You betray the world one step at a time. You give up on yourself. You give up on your country, on your family, on everything good. Because if you want to be good, if you want to be strong, you have to practice those things. Jordan Peterson said, do not practice what you don't want to become. Every step you make, you practice. And you have to be very careful what kind of step you make. You have to be very, very careful. Because it's really hard to unpractice something that you've been practicing for a long time. Almost impossible. It's almost impossible to change yourself. I always have this comparison when you break your arm, right? And if it's healed incorrectly, you have to re-break your arm again and fix it. The same you have to do sometimes with your character. You have to break yourself to pieces and rebuild yourself. And it's really, really painful and filled with struggle, but that's what we have to do. If our character is incorrect, we have to break our own character in solitude and rebuild ourselves to become stronger, to become more dangerous, because we need dangerous men who are able to keep their danger under control. Only then we can be fair. Only then we can protect what we have to protect, the most vulnerable people in our society, like women, children, elderly. Otherwise, we're not going to be able to do this. And to be dangerous, we have to practice this danger within ourselves. We have to harness it. Not to be scared, but to harness it. To understand why we need to harness it, why we need to utilize it, why we need to use it. Because otherwise you cannot be a man. You are in between good and bad, and you balance constantly. You never become too good and you never become too bad. You're always in the middle because you don't know what you have to use. Maybe one day you need to use your badness, because there's nothing wrong with that if you use it for the right reason, to be fair. Because to be fair is to take responsibilities, take a stand for what must be done. And if you have to go against the entire world, because often the world is wrong. Because the world sometimes is just a crowd in front of you that scream profanities and shaking their fist to the sky and blame God. You have to look at yourself constantly, because all your problems start within yourself, with your attitude toward the world. You have to look at yourself, at your room, at your place, at your order. There's nothing else. Once you fix your stuff, once you understand what must be fixed within you, then the world will change, because you will look at the world from a dangerous perspective as a dangerous man who has its danger under control.